consciousness of the eyesight, consciousness of the sound, or the sound and the consciousness of it, the smell and the consciousness of it, the taste and the consciousness of it, the body and the consciousness of it. This is what we were doing with the Anapanasati. And then you leave the 5 senses behind, and then you move to the most important part, which is the mind. Consciousness of the mind, awareness of the mind. Now, when you come to the awareness of the mind, of course, this means awareness of the thoughts. And then see the thought arising and letting be there for some time, and then it just dies away. Usually what we did was we're trying to catch this thought with something. And first we trained ourselves to leave the thought. Now we are training to see what the thought is all about. And just let the barriers down. Just be aware of the thought and be aware of the next thought, where it's taking you. It's trying to tell you a story. It's always trying to tell you a story. Follow the pattern of all the thoughts that you're getting. First you might, it's something like this. First you might think of emails. And then just follow through. Just let it go. Let it take you to the place where it's going. And then it might be, the next thought might be, I need to write the email. I needed to send this email to this person. And then follow through. Then there's a story in the email. And what am I really going to gain out of this? Maybe it's something that we promise somebody that we'll do, whatever. Just follow through the thoughts and see where this is leading to. And it just started as an email, but it might lead as something that I have absolutely need to do, because by doing that, I feel very happy and satisfied. And if I don't do that, I feel something. It might lead you to a complete different thing. If you just analyze your thought process, it tells a story. I want you to read the story. Without getting involved with the story, just read the story. It's like watching a TV. We're not getting involved with the situation. We're just watching the TV and being aware of what it's trying to tell us. This is exactly the meditation process of Vipassana or Vidarshana. It's just like a TV. We're not going to get involved with the situation, but we are aware that this thing is really happening and where it's leading to. Because if we can see this motion, a picture, and if we are aware of it, before taking actions, we can decide here. Otherwise, what happens is, this motion, this picture is becoming our life. And we are doing things, deciding things, and just going along with things without really taking the time to really see what it's about. So this is a process like that, and it gets you to where your most wanted hidden desires are. Might take a little bit of time to analyze this properly. But when you do this and continuously do this, you start seeing things in a completely different angle than before. Yes.
Is there any particular time you recommend for meditation?
It depends on the person.
Yeah.
If you are a person who is very much used to working or concentrating or reading or going through stuff in the night, then it should be the night. But this, you need to watch out for this. If you're feeling too tired, that is not the time for meditation.
Yeah.
That is definitely not the time. Because if your body is very tired, it will not let you focus. because what you should be focusing is on sleep at that time. But when you had enough sleep and rested some time, or you do have work, you go to work and come, but you're completely fine, you're fully awake, that's the time you should meditate. Most of the time, I say in the mornings, early mornings. For me, it works best.
Yeah.
Because throughout the day, I've been doing so many things and tiring myself and all of that. I'm a morning person basically. So I'm not sure whether that works for me best because of that, or whether it's a completely different thing. But mornings are much better because I'm rested and then very fresh. I can discipline myself to get up at a certain time and then meditate for some time, and then my day starts with the meditation. This is what I was doing as a layperson. And also I discovered that there is a scientific thing regarding that as well. That is, you would know about raga, dvesha, moha. All the defilements gets up in the air, energizing the vibrations and creating havoc in the atmosphere. Because of the energies, the auras gets all worked up during the day. That's why actually the heat rises as well, or the cold rises as well. Two extremes. Both of these complement because of the things that is happening during the daytime. Everybody is up doing all sorts of things, and this energy gets affected to the entire environment.
Mm-hmm.
But early in the mornings, everybody's up, everything is calmed down. It's the silence of the nature that you feel. And the nature itself, or the environment itself, even if you're living in the middle of a city, still there is an amount which has calmed down because of this, because most of the people are sleeping. And that helps meditation.
Yeah.
Especially if you're living in a big city. If you're living, in the countryside, up in the hills, it wouldn't really matter. But especially in the cities, I find the energy balance is actually, it helps a lot if we train ourselves to meditate in the morning, because there are so many benefits. Number one, you're rested. Number two, your body completely starts functioning in the right direction. As a normal human being, we need to get up and work and do a lot of things during the day. So your body function is also better because your mind function is better. That's the secret behind it. Because you have been training yourself to focus first thing in the morning. So that focus is there throughout the day. And also, it eliminates certain, because of the body balance, it eliminates certain tension in the nervous system, which helps with certain sicknesses as well. So it's a combination of benefits in the morning, but you can choose to meditate in the nights or evening.
If we do our day-to-day work in sense, is it meditation? No.
It is meditation, but sense with sati actually, with a lot of concentration. But why we do that is to see where we are getting attached to different types of valuations. It's not to train ourselves just to be cutting on one thing and just to concentrate on that. But it is to train ourselves while doing this and focusing on this. And then the next step would be when we are doing something else and somebody comes and shouts, to analyze and say, now where are my thoughts going? Is it going towards this, or is it going towards that? Or am I going to start another argument? Or am I going to calm down and settle the issue? It's something like that. It's to train the next step. We are laying the foundation.
No, I mean, we are living in so many kind of people, and
Yes.
sometimes it's very difficult to understand them.
Yes.
So I'm always trying to, when I'm talking with them, I'm always trying to go through their words and understand their thoughts.
Yes, that is true. This sati, this focus, if we are able to focus properly, we will not just hear a person's word, but we will read through their feelings.
Yeah.
That would be easy to see where they're coming from and to solve the matter.
Yeah, otherwise it's very difficult to live with them.
Yes. But then again, you need to think, now, why is it so difficult to live in a certain situation? Is because I've been thinking that the good situation will always last. That's why it gets difficult to live with the bad situation. Yeah, because I'm expecting a good situation and it's not happening. It's not happening. We can say it's life, but actually in the back of my mind, I'm really, really hoping that the situation will change. And when it doesn't change, I feel very frustrated. I feel very agitated. I feel like I'm not worth anything. I'm trying and trying and trying, but I'm in the same square one. That's the feeling that we go through, and that might even lead to depression. Because we feel that we are trying very hard, but nothing is changing. The trick is, can we see through our thoughts? Because we have been wanting the good situation. Yes, that is better. Definitely life is better with the good situation. But the problem is it doesn't stay like that. And we need to accept it. We need to accept that the situation is bad. Because once you accept the situation is bad, your mind is all 50% it's trained to accept the bad.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
And then we are only dealing with the rest of the problem. Here we have the other 50% to deal with, is because we are not accepting that the situation is changing. It's impermanent actually. This is what we call impermanency. And we are trying to train ourselves to accept the impermanency, that this is changing and we cannot, even if it's the good thing, still we cannot control it. What we are expecting is the good thing, that's true, but that doesn't happen like that.
What we get is a bad thing a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a completely opposite thing that we have been dealt with. But our mind is not trained to accept it. So we have this huge conflict all the time. We might speak to a person very kindly. We might say okay and do things, but we don't have peace.
Angry.
Yeah,
In the
we're
back of our
angry.
mind. Yeah.
And to know that you're angry is number one. To know that I'm angry now, I'm really, really angry, that is number one. And then only we have to see, why am I angry? What's the valuation that I gave for something completely different? And because that valuation is not lasting, it makes me angry. See, this is how we break down anger. And then we see, because of my attachment to the value that I have given to something, and that is not happening, and that makes me angry. So if we decrease the value that we have given in our mind, this anger is settled. That person still might be wrong, but we are having a little bit of peace inside here. And that's all that we are trying to aim, because we cannot change the world. We cannot change the people. All of it, the situations, everything, we cannot change it. It's about how we train ourselves to see through this in order to accept certain things and be at peace. That's all we can do. Nothing else we can do. Because the world will be the world all the time.
I don't have much time to meditate, but always when I go to bed, before I sleep, I meditate a little bit. Think on meditation, I'm going to sleep.
Sleep.
And when I wake up in the morning, also I'm meditating.
But one thing is, you have to be very careful if you're half asleep and meditating, you have to be very careful of that, because different entities, it's not just you and me who is here, another entities living that we cannot see, and
Yeah.
they try to enter the body and mind at these times.
Really?
So you'd be very careful if you're meditating through sleep, or when you're falling asleep, you're not really conscious. And that's the time that they actually attack. So you have to be very careful of this as well.
Now, what sorts of beings are they? Are they ghosts or pretas? Or?
Most of the time it's
Yeah.
pretas and
Yeah.
ghosts and
And what can they do to a susceptible person?
Mm.
You know, what? Yeah.
the problem is, what we don't really realize is that we think all our karmic links are just, with the visible people.
Yeah.
But we have karmic ties even with them. And sometimes if they feel that we are going to a better place in life in general, or if we are going to a better place through these meditations or Dhamma or whatever, sometimes they're not really wanting that. They have a lot of jealousy in them that they are suffering and we are here. Sometimes we would have created that situation, but for some luck, we have been born like this and we are following the path and doing this. And not even just following the path, we're just living life and trying to make the best of it. But they are not able to do that. They see that.
And they're in another dimension. Or
Yes,
realm,
dimension, but
that-
interconnected.
But somehow they have a connection to this realm, and they can be jealous of the position of a human being, which is better than where they're trapped for.
Yeah, they're trapped for a long time.
Yeah.
So they try to experience. Actually, what they want to do is they want to experience, they want to relive how they were before. Through the sight, through the sound, through the taste, through the smell, mainly through the touch, and through the mind. So they try to shift from their being into our body and try to experience these factors. And that creates a complete imbalance in a human being.
So people can actually go crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is where we had to be quite careful
that's
about.
Probably not the best practice for us to try to meditate at night before we fall asleep.
Sleep. Because the first thing is we are tired, body's tired, mind is tired. We are half asleep, falling asleep. That's a perfect time for them to enter and take control of things, which we wouldn't even notice until it goes to quite a level. So many depression cases I've come across is because not only just meditation, but they've been continuously thinking about something sorrowful affecting, and this entity wants to enter and be with this, experience this in some form or the other.
That's kind of scary.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. There's a lot of dangers on this path,
Yeah.
Or there are some anyway, it seems like.
You need to protect yourself from this. That's why the first thing is you need to be fully aware of what you're really doing. And then when you, especially when you go for meditations, you should protect yourself with this light beam. Remember one thing, they also like certain kind of atmospheres, like pretas and kumbhandas, all these other type of entities. They like, say for an example, they like a situation from where they come from. The atmosphere that they come from is quite dirty and smelly and all sorts of things like that. So they try to create this in our houses so that it is a atmosphere that they can stay, right? So that's why in Asian cultures we have the oil lamps and the incense burning and the pirit and
The purified.
purification. It's the cleansing process. it makes it very difficult for an entity like that to be established in a place where all of this energy is circulating around. They're very difficult. So just in the same manner, when you're meditating, we should always put the light beam, the protective light beam, because they don't want the light as such, because light represents a lot of power and energy that they can't really attack or surpass through. So you should always make sure that you imagine this entire light covering you as a light ball, and you're actually in that and you're meditating. And this light which flows through comes from Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, the pure energy form. Because when you imagine that, when you think of that, it actually transcends to you.
In my home, I am the only Buddhist. My daughter, my wife, everybody is Catholic.
Oh.
But they are doing their prayers every
Okay.
day.
Even that is a better thing, definitely a better thing than not having anything.
Yeah. Yeah, they are praying every day. They light their lamps and things like that. They are doing
That
and,
is
and
okay.
every morning we play the in YouTube the Piri.
Okay. Yeah, again the whole time.
But they like the Buddhism also.
Yes,
Because
that's
I'm
good. Okay.
because I'm practicing every day.
Practicing.
Yeah. It's a long
Maybe-
time. When we are in Sri Lanka too, I'm going to temple with them like that. And
Maybe
I'm
they
going
can
to church too.
practice the first steps of Anapanasati, because it doesn't belong to any religion. You can tell your daughter, it just calms you down. Because the
Yes,
first
she's
steps
coming.
is...
She hope to come tomorrow. But
Good.
දැන් මේ අන්තිමට දැන් පින් අනුබෝධන් කරාමත් තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ
පින් අනුමෝදන් කරන එක තමයි හොඳම. පින් අනුමෝදන් කරන්න ඒ ගන්න ඒගොල්ලන් ඒක අරගෙන පැත්තකට වෙලා ඉන්නවා. ඒක කරන්න නැතුව ඉන්නෝනේ ඊටත් වැඩිය කරදර කරනවා.
දැන් මම පන්සිල් ගත්තා. දැන් මම සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ප්‍රැක්ටිස් එකක් වශයෙන් මම වැඩට යන සමහර දවස්වල මම යනවා දෙපාරට විතර. මම කාර් එකේ නේද ගෙදර ඉඳලා හොටෙල් එකට යන්න කොහමද? යාට 15ක් විතර යනවා කිව්වා 15. ඒ 15 මිනිස් මම යන්නේම භාවනාවකින් කර යන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ එතෙන්ට ගිහලා භාවනාව නතර කළා. අපව මුලින් ඇදලා පින් අනුමෝදන් කරනවා වාද්‍යයකට හැබ්බෝකා ඒ ගාතාව කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි වැඩට යන්නේ.
ඒක හොඳයි. ඒක ගොඩක් හොඳයි. ඒක දිගටම කරන්න.
දාගන්නකොටත් ඒ විදිහට මම
ඔව්.
මෙඩිටේට් කරනවා පින් අනුමෝදන් කරලා තමයි.
ඔව්.
ඉන්නට යන්නේ.
We're talking about transcending merits.
Oh, good subject. Because I'm interested in. I do it, and I'm not sure I'm doing it properly. You know. So.
How do you do it?
Well, I do it in the beginning of the meditation, what my teacher has called the guardian meditations. You know, where it's about 15-minute period where you're, where I'm. Going through the body and everything, the bones, or concentrate on one organ. And at the end of that, I transfer merits. Somehow I've done this in my own way, transferring merits to the deceased people that I know. Not even necessarily people I like that much, but I just happen to know they're dead and may need the help, you know. So, as I go through life and meditate more and people die, the tree is starting to get long, you know. And all I'm doing is saying that there's a litany of people, and then I list the people in my mind, and then I say, may all of these people use this merit if needed. I offer this freely, something like that. And but I'm not sure that's the right way to do it or not. What were you saying about transferring merits?
The transcending of merits is, yes, you can have the names as well,
Yeah.
and then you can have for all living beings.
Yeah.
All living beings in different samsaric lifetimes that
Yeah.
I have met or I haven't met.
Yeah.
And also mention in your mind that if there has been any ill will or any anger, any jealousy, any type of aggressive behavior,
Right.
all of this, anything in my part, I truly and purely ask for forgiveness.
Okay.
Okay.
But thing is, they don't have that proper gata, something like that in English, like us.
Yes.
That's
Yes,
their
but
problem.
we can what I do is I just translate everything, and then if you really think about this,
The
that
meaning.
yeah, the meaning of it, that's what we need, the meaning.
But in
To
my-
all living beings.
To all living beings, yeah. Now, in what I just told you is that those are dead people that I'm trying to reach
Yeah.
with merits, offering
Yeah.
merits.
But there are living people who needs it as well.
And there are living people
That's
who
why-
needed it as well, and those dead people may be living in another form by
Yeah.
now.
Yes.
And
But still, it actually transcends. If I will tell you the process, we'll just go through what needs the content of it.
okay.
Okay.
Yes, please.
To all living beings
Okay.
who has had sansaric connections with me,
Who have had
sansaric
samsaric
interconnections
interconnections
with me,
with myself.
Yes.
Connections with me. Okay.
if there has been any ill will,
There has been any ill will.
anger, whatever you need to put there, you can put there actually.
Mhm.
Anger, hatred, or disagreements,
Or-
and anything, jealousy,
yeah. Okay.
envy, anything. If we have had this kind of behavior, what you're trying to say is,
Right,
if we
right.
had this kind of behavior, at this moment, I truly ask for forgiveness. I truly and purely ask for forgiveness.
Truly and purely ask for
Forgiveness. And in the same manner,
Okay. Okay.
if any living being
Okay.
has had anger, jealousy, envy, whatever, towards me, myself,
Etc. towards
myself, I truly and purely
Truly and purely
forgive
forgive them. Okay.
Throughout, just one more line. Throughout this journey,
Throughout this journey,
I offer all my kusal or merits
all my kusal or merits,
so that all living beings
so that all
discover the path.
Discover the path.
And end
And
suffering.
End suffering.
End
right?
suffering. Yeah. Now, the meaning of this is what we are actually doing here is, number one thing, we don't know what we have been doing. That's why we are in this square.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first part is asking for forgiveness, and the second part is offering forgiveness, and also the third part is by offering whatever merits we have, it clears the path for us. It's like cutting off the bonds as well. Okay, I ask for forgiveness and I forgive, and then I offer whatever I can offer, and I end the bonds from here.
Yeah, yeah.
This is why we do this, but we attach a condition to it, because when we have a lot of merits and we offer, some entities, what they do is, because it's like a power that they get.
Yeah.
If they put their mind to it, actually they can get this merit, and it's a power. But they can use this power to do good or bad. So that's why we are putting the condition, saying that I'm offering this merits, but it's in order to use it for the path and to end all suffering. So they can actually use that. If they can get it, it's free for them. They can get it, but they need to get this in order to end their path, to discover the path and end the suffering.
Yeah.
So that way they always use this for a good purpose,
Yeah, 'cause
and not
they
misuse it.
They could misuse it.
They could misuse it
to
if we
kill
don't
and
offer it in
to-
the right way.
Yeah, and to make others suffer.
Yes.
And
And even if they are in a place where they can't get this merit at that moment, but what we do is, it's called anantara samanantara. Now, when we offer this, it gets through the vibration. Just for an example, it gets collected somewhere, and whenever they make their mind to it, and they truly want blessings and guidance, in whatever form they are, however long it takes, it's just staying here. This energy field stays here. And if they want it, the day that they want it, if they really think about it, this will transcend to them.
okay.
So this is the actual process of transcending merits. And it's the same that we are doing. I told you to think about the golden light, or the light around, and ask Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, the blessings to be around. This is the same thing that we are doing. Maybe there are Samma Sambuddhas, the Pase Buddhas, the Arahats, and people who had wished us the best. They have transcended the merits like this, and actually we receive that for the path as well. So it's the same thing that we are doing to all living beings here.
So that, okay, just so I understand, you're saying that we wish these beings, even if they cannot, even if they cannot properly use the energy that we're
Stilled.
giving them or granting them or wishing them, there's a sort of a eternal cloud or bank or whatever you want to say of virtue or positivity for themselves when they're ready to accept it and on the right path, you know.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And when you think about who knows how time is in the other dimension, you know, but it could be millions of years before or it could be a few
Yeah.
seconds, you know.
Yeah,
That's
true.
why they might be able to realize that power for themselves.
For themselves, but when they truly need it, it's still there.
Yeah,
It's still there.
yeah. They might need it in an emergency.
Yes.
Yeah,
Just like we need in emergencies.
yeah,
And we receive this because it's a transcending of merit. It's always to do with the mind. When we really need it and if we really think about it, we are actually connecting with this higher energy level, and then we actually receive from there. මේ බුද්ධ ශක්තිය කියන්නේ ඒකට. It's a Shakti means energy. Buddha Shakti, the energy power, the power line.
Shakti is energy. Is, yeah.
I remember I met with an accident. I was in the blues.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden, all my friends were there
Oh, is it?
to
Okay.
help me.
Yeah. It's amazing. Certain things when they happen so fast.
Was that a motorcycle accident?
I know. No, the guy who came and hit me behind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
My children were there, friends were there. I did not know what the hell to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the blues. But everything popped up and I was having a very peaceful mind.
Okay. That is the most important thing in a very shocking event, especially to do with life and death, to still be at peace with the situation.
And I never had a grudge with the person.
Excuse me at the beginning.
Hey.
Especially here, I'm not criticizing, but especially in this country, a lot of people working
Yes.
until they die because and they don't have time to do
Yeah.
anything for their next life.
Yeah.
So
Or this life,
yeah,
really speaking.
Really?
yeah.
Isn't it? We think that we are doing so many things.
In our working place, some people are coming to work like sometimes in the
Wheelchair.
wheelchair.
Oh,
It's
God.
true.
Yesterday we were discussing
Yeah.
to meet that Kevin Mahansi, I mean you can.
Yeah.
I mean you can just imagine, the way you lead the life here.
Yeah.
Will we get a chance?
Yeah.
Mm.
So one of my friends, his name is
Hmm.
Evavitan. He's from Evavitan family,
Okay.
and his brother died recently, and I introduced him when Abraham.
Hmm.
So he's practicing to hear that bana, and he now is very placed on this.
Oh, that is very good.
Yeah.
Because in the end of the day, we've been doing things, and yes, we do need things to survive. But at the same time, where does it lead us to? And we die and we start all over again. And we think we don't have time in this life. And then we die and start all over again and think we don't have time in this life. So it's the same thing. It's like you die and then you are born and you repeat the same thing. And you die and you're born and you repeat the same thing. It's an endless vicious circle.
We can't remember those things.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah. And yeah, that's the samsaric circle or whatever.
But
that
it's
we
stored
can't-
there.
If we can remember about at least one lifetime before, that would be a
Are
lot.
there any techniques to make that happen?
It is called a jnana, or it is called a wisdom which dawns on you if you have been practicing this for a long time, even in different births, it just kind of connects to this. And then you can see, it's like I'm seeing you and you're seeing me. And if we are somewhere up here and we are watching the entire situation, you can see, it's almost like watching TV. Certain episodes, like trailers, you will be able to see if
Did you see
you
that-
have Dibba Chaku.
Did you see that Sri Lankan guy who started telling the previous birth? It was in the YouTube recently.
What was his name?
I forget the name. He started talking about the previous birth when he was 2.5 years old.
Yeah.
And
No, I know there must be some people that can remember their
Yeah.
previous births. Because who knows why, but I mean, maybe they're highly developed and their paramitas are high or something. I don't know exactly, but there are people like you're saying, and I'm not one of them, but that's okay. I mean, I wish I could remember something, you know.
Remembering is one thing, but actually seeing through is another thing. Remembering, you will remember and then it will stay with you. That particular incident will stay with you. Or most of the time, if you remember your past lives when you're little children, most of the time children remembers is because they're in connection with almost like two worlds. And then after sometimes they completely forget it. And if you're a grown up and then suddenly you remember something, maybe that you can remember it and you will stay with it, but that's only a certain amount of incidents. But then there's a wisdom that you can actually track certain things in different lifetimes. This is called Dibba Chakku, Dibba Sota. It's two types of wisdoms. Dibba Chakku.
D-I...
B...
D-I-B...
H-A. Dibba.
D... H... D... Dibba...
Yes, Dibba.
D-I-B-H-A.
D-I-B-H-A. Dibba Chakku.
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 It's called the divine eye.
Divine eye.
And the second one is called Dibba Sota.
Dibba...
Sota.
So?
Sota.
Sota.
S-O-T-H-A. Sota. This is called the divine ear. And if you have this too, you can actually see the visuals of certain past lifetimes with the divine eye, and you can hear the sounds also, or the voices, what was connected. Not only past lives, in different, actually these two are connected to past lives as well as in this present moment, the devas and the brahmas or the nagas, different realms and worlds, you can see that. And there's another jnana, I'm talking about jnana, there's another jnana called Pubbe Nivasanusuti. Pubbe,
P-U-B... Pubbe...
Pubbe,
P-U-B-B-E...
yes, E,
E...
Pubbe, Nivasanusuti. Niva,
N-I-V-A...
S-A,
S-A...
A, Anusuti. A, N-U,
A-N-U...
S-A,
S-A...
T-H-A.
T-H...
T-H-I.
T-H-I... Pubbe Nivasa Anusati.
Yes, that is called been able to read through past lives.
Okay.
This, it could be that these all three are interconnected, or the first two could appear as a wisdom.
Now, is that considered a wisdom?
It's a wisdom.
It's a wisdom. Okay. Able to read through past lives. All three of those, the Diba Chaku and the Diba Sota,
Sota and
and the
Pubbe
Nivasa
Anusati
Anusati.
is also a wisdom.
Wisdoms.
Remember yesterday I was telling you I will get tell your wife to go through the 73 wisdoms
Okay.
and just to read it, because
Yeah.
that itself gives a certain amount of vibration where you get certain amount of energies. These three are also in there.
Okay. In that book?
Mm.
Okay.
I'm hoping to write an English version of that book.
Oh. Take your time. Okay. So able to read through past lives of yourself or others?
Yourself and others, both.
To both? So maybe this kind of person that can actually do that, they, might meet somebody casually and
Yes.
be able to see what
See
they're-
through,
Yeah.
yes.
Can anyone see future lives?
Future lives to an extent,
To an extent.
because of you can gauge of the pattern which has been created in this life up to now, and you can take it further and see if this is the pattern, it could lead to this.
Okay.
It could.
It's a kind of a
Yes,
guess.
yes.
Educated
Yeah.
guess.
But a Samma Sambuddha, a Passe Buddha, could define this to the precise moment, even the future.
This is a
Samma Sambuddha,
perfectly enlightened
yes.
Buddha.
yes, the perfectly enlightened Samma
Yeah.
Sambuddha can.
Like
Can say.
our Gautama Buddha.
Yes, Gautama Buddha.
Okay, so then this will be Maitri, or who the next one?
Yes.
That will
Yes,
have those.
have those abilities, all those wisdom, not the ability, but the wisdom of
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Humans, ordinary humans, nobody's going to have.
Some they do,
They do?
and some arahats could have this.
Okay.
And some who are in line to the arahat in different margapala also could have this. This
Yeah.
just it's like it's a percentage of it.
Okay.
A person could have 10%, another person could have 20%,
Okay.
an arahat may have 60%,
Okay.
another arahat may have 40%. It's like it's because it's a wisdom, and it's a percentage of this wisdom. But a Samma Sambuddha has 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if we want to meet the Sammasambuddha Buddha, because we would learn. Oh, he's not going to tell us, but he would know things that we would not want to know, maybe.
Yeah, which is not in our capacity to know as well.
Yeah.
We wouldn't understand everything.
We wouldn't understand.
That's what Gautama Buddha said. He was being asked this question:
Mm.
do you know everything?
Mm.
Then he said, yes, I do. I could know if I so wanted to. I could reach up to it, and then see what it is all about. And then they asked, why wouldn't you preach everything? Then he said, you can't, even if I preached, you don't have the knowledge, capacity to grasp through this.
Yeah.
Only another Samma Sambuddha will be able to grasp through this
Yeah,
knowledge.
it's like a child.
Yeah.
You can't tell a child that cannot talk yet about some high subject.
Yeah.
It's alien.
Alien.
It's just no way.
And then he said something very interesting. He says, I will teach you, because of this reason, I will teach you the path to end suffering, because that's exactly what you need to know.
You don't need that.
You don't need
Yeah.
the other stuff because anyway you
Yeah.
wouldn't understand even
Yeah.
if I said. That's what he has said.
Yeah.
Declared really.
Well, I should tell you, this experience, if you don't mind, that I had in Sri Lanka, that I didn't even really believe it until after years later, and I was thinking about it. But that we were in Anuradhapura, in my wife and I and some others and her family, and just walking up, and I remember I was doing some activity in my mind with Buddhism. I was trying to understand something or something, and suddenly this monk came in front of me and he said, "Hi," and whatever he said, and he said, he said, "I don't want money," and he handed me this card, and it had the wheel, the
Dhammachakra?
yeah, the Dhammachakra wheel, and he said, on the card it said, that line about all of the Buddhists have proclaimed that the way is to abandon evil and gain good, and then my this happened so long ago. It's been quite a while now, but maybe 15 years or so. But and then so he gave me the card that had that saying on it, and we talked a little bit, and my wife says, and I don't clearly remember this, but that I told her, give him some money, and she said I turned around or something when he was gone at that time. When
Yeah, it could, especially now Anuradhapura and places like that, it could happen because there are, you see them as a monk. It could be a monk who's trained in supernatural powers as well, and they appear for a certain purpose. Actually, they appear to meditate as well, and they have this type of wisdoms, different type of techniques and wisdoms, and then they appear and help someone, and they just move away.
Even I have experienced that in Anuradhapura.
Yeah.
Really?
There are incidents like that happening where a person sees and they say something, and then the next moment they just disappeared. Yeah. Like in the Himalayas and also in Anuradhapura is especially near Ruan Valley Mahasaya.
Okay.
Yeah, that is there. It's like we see someone meditating, and after some time it's gone.
They're gone. Now they're beings, just divine beings or something like that are just to help you.
Yes.
Or, yeah.
Yes, to help.
Yeah.
Mainly it's to help another person. And if they see that this person could gain this knowledge, maybe this person is in the path, needs a little bit of blessing, needs a little bit of guidance, needs a little bit of guidance with faith also. Sometimes because to create the faith in us also they do that. Because we will be searching for this after that. ශ්‍රද්ධා ඇති කරන්නත් කරනවා සමහරක් ශ්‍රද්ධාව වැඩි කරන්න. The faith is called Shraddha.
Shraddha. Bhakti is also faith.
Yeah.
Is there any English books in Buddhism other than Ananda Maitri?
In English?
In English?
Yes, there are books. I also have written some books I will try to share. Some
No, especially I'm trying to find book like not the regular version.
yes, yes, yes.
I mean,
Yeah, to
like,
end this path, ne?
Yeah.
Mm.
I
Yes,
mean,
there
like
are.
Original doctrine books?
Yes.
Is that what he's
Yes,
yeah.
yes. There are few, definitely few.
like when Abhyamdros බණ ඒ වගේ
Yes.
ඒ වගේ
ඔබේ හාමුදුරුවෝ ලියලා නැහැ. ඉංග්‍රීෂ් වලින් ලියලා තියෙනවා මම. ඒ ටිකක් එවන්න බලන්න.
මොකද ඒක හරියට මේ දැන් ඒ බණ ඇහුවම තේරෙනවා මොකක්
ලොකු වෙනසක්.
ලොකු වෙනසක් තියෙනවා අපි දැන් පොඩි කාලේ ඉඳලා අපි ගෙවල් වල ඉතින් අපේ අම්මලා
ශ්‍රී සද්ධර්මය කියන්නේ වෙනස් එකක් නේ.
ඒකයි.
අරක ඉස්සෙල්ලා ගේනවා. ඒකත් ඕනි. නැතුව නෙමෙයි. ඒක ගේනවා. The other practices in Buddhism, it is needed, but only to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And it is needed until you get to a point where you can understand there's something definitely wrong with the system. I need to find what it is.
It's good for the practice.
It's to get to that bit you need the first steps, like the puja and the offerings and the danis and
There's something definitely wrong with the system, the world system?
the world system.
Oh, okay.
The world
You're-
system, because we are going from we at one point it just clicks, kind of. We're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. Where is
Everybody's
this?
blind to it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the right
including
word, I think.
myself, you know.
It's really blinded everybody, because we are so involved with the process rather than taking one step back and actually looking at what we are actually doing.
Yeah.
It's really blinded.
Where is this all going? We go to work, we suffer, we have families, we do these rituals, everything, the day to day, and nobody's really, not that many people are really questioning any of it. You know? And some people are just as ignorant to
Yes.
their situation as can be.
Yes. It's only very few who starts questioning this.
Yeah.
So to be able to even question it, you should actually have some very good merits behind you to have that wisdom to think that there is definitely something wrong with this.
Yeah.
To even get to that stage, and that's where we need the other little practices of Buddhism. And then, but most of the time, even people who call themselves Buddhists are attached to that system, and only that system. They don't try to look on
Are
the
you talking
philosophical part.
Doing danas and
Yes.
those merits
Yes.
and those,
Yes.
you
That is good, but to an extent, we should gain the best out of it
Yeah.
and actually use that credit,
Yeah.
the blessing or the merit, to find what this is really about.
Yeah.
A lot of people get just attached to the ritual part of it and just stay with it.
In all religions, I'd say.
Yeah,
you know.
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Mhm. But maybe it's not their time yet.
Yeah. It's,
Could be that. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ වෙලාව තියෙන්නත් ඕනේ. අපි හැමෝම ආවේම නැත්නම් මේක මේ අවසන් කරලා ඉවර වෙන්න එපා. ගෞතම බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේලාට හරි අඩුම ගන්න. We pass through now, as we know, we pass through 28 Lord Buddhas, hearing the same doctrine.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And still we are suffering with it.
Yeah.
We haven't got out of the system yet. So that is also because of a reason. No? And it's now only dawned on us as we have been blind. I have to find a way out of this. So maybe there are people who are still in the system and they need to slowly get out of it.